Jai Hind everyone, myself Dr. Kumar Mittal, Assistant Professor in Mechanical Engineering Department. Today I am going to discuss about the energy resources and overview. So there are different type of energy resources. The energy is basically defined as the capacity to do a work. The energy may be kinetic energy, potential energy, chemical energy, heat energy. The energy can further be classified into primary energy resources, secondary energy resources, or we can say renewable energy resources or non-renewable energy resources. So when we talk about the basics of energy, or we are saying that kinetic energy, so kinetic energy is nothing but just like a body which is having a certain mass m and it is moving with certain velocity v. So the kinetic energy is half mv square given by equation. Similarly, potential energy is when a certain body having a mass m and it is kept at a certain height h. So this is known as mgh. Now further energy resources are classified based on the renewable energy resources. So renewable energy sources are nothing but the resources which are in plenty. Means these resources जो ऊर्जा के स्रोत अपर्याप्त हैं वो कभी समाप्त नहीं होंगे. They can be renewed again and again. While on the other case, non-renewable energy resources like petrol, coal, natural gases, these are unlimited. They are finished at a certain point of time and they are creating pollution. इनके प्रयोग से प्रदूषण होता है. So we can explain these resources one by one in detail in the coming slides. So energy is the energy of a body is its capacity to do work. It is measured the total amount of work that the body can do. So for example, if this is a surface and we are having a body of mass m, now this body is acted upon by some force F. Now this is A, B, C, D. Now due to this force F, this body is moving from this point 1 to this point 1 dash. So this is A dash, B dash, C dash and D dash. This is the center of gravity. So the movement of this point 1 to 1 dash is, suppose this is the distance d. So when a body is moving from one point to another point or one place to another place by applying some force, so the work done W is equal to the force into distance d. So this is the basically the energy and the unit of this is joule. So this is the energy of a body. We can take another example like in heat combustion engine. So in heat combustion engine, there are 4 strokes. So there are 4 strokes. Number 1. Number 1 is suction stroke. Number 2 is combustion stroke. Number 3 is expansion stroke. Number 4 is exhaust stroke. So these are the 4 strokes: suction, compression, expansion and exhaust stroke in heat engine. Now how we are getting energy from this heat engine? So there is a heat engine like so this is the heat engine, this is the inlet valve. This is exhaust valve. This is cylinder. This is piston. And this is connecting rod. This is crank. And here it is TDC, that is top dead center, and this is BDC, that is bottom dead center. Now initially when there is a suction stroke, inlet valve remains open, inlet valve खुला रहता है और एयर और फ्यूल का मिक्सचर इस इनलेट वाल्व के थ्रू सिलेंडर में एंटर करता है, and exhaust valve will remain closed. So the piston is moving from TDC to BDC. पिस्टन टॉप डेड सेंटर से बॉटम डेड सेंटर की तरफ मूव करता है. नाउ दिस इज द VS और स्ट्रोक लेंथ. दिस इज लेंथ इज द स्ट्रोक लेंथ. Now we are not getting any output when the piston is moving from top dead center to bottom dead center in the initial stage. And this crank is rotated by 180 degree in this direction. After this stage, as soon as this stage is completed, the inlet valve gets closed. Inlet valve बंद हो जाता है. Now both valves, inlet and exhaust valves, are now closed. Now this piston moves in upward direction. That is from bottom dead center to top dead center. The purpose of this phase is to increase the pressure of the air fuel mixture. Air fuel mixture के pressure को increase करने के लिए now this piston is moving from bottom dead center to top dead center, and again this crank rotates by 180 degree, and this is the one complete revolution. As soon as this piston reaches the top dead center, there is a spark plug here. Spark plug. The function of spark plug is to get initial spark to this air fuel mixture, and because this air fuel mixture is in compressed stage, a high flames are produced as soon as the spark is created, and these high flames having high pressure, and these flames imparted a force on this piston, and this piston moves in downward direction. So now when the piston is moving the downward direction, we are getting some work output, and therefore the different automobile equipments, scooter, vehicles, 4-wheelers, 2-wheelers, bike, cars, they are running, and this is actually the energy we are obtaining. This is the work output, and this work output is given by W into pressure into volume. So pressure is the pressure developed here by the gases, and V is the volume, that is the swept volume, the volume of this cylinder, that is Vs, and this Vs is the pi by 4 d square into L. L is the stroke length and d is the diameter of this piston. So this way we are getting the energy. In the fourth stroke, exhaust stroke, again इनलेट वॉल्व इज क्लोज्ड, बट द एग्जॉस्ट वॉल्व, जो एग्जॉस्ट वॉल्व है वो खुल जाता है और जितनी भी बर्न गैसेज हैं वो सिलेंडर से बाहर चली जाती हैं, एंड दिस वे वन कंप्लीट साइकिल इज कंप्लीटेड एंड द पिस्टन मूव्स top dead center to bottom, bottom to top dead center, and this crank rotates 720 degree. Now similarly, there are other examples also from which we are getting energy, like in dam. In dam, what is there? The water is stored at a certain height h. So the potential energy of the water mgh, m is the mass of the water, g is the gravitational force, is converted into the kinetic energy, and this kinetic energy is utilized to run the turbines, and this turbine is connected to the generator and electricity is produced. Similarly, we are having the simple pendulum system. A spring mass system is there. In simple pendulum, what is there? Pendulum is there, a ball is there, and when it is at the mean position, initially the velocity is 0, and when we are giving initial impact to this, it reaches to its extreme end, and at the extreme end, the height which is gained by this ball is responsible for potential energy, means static energy. Now again, when this pendulum or this ball reaches to its mean point, the velocity v is maximum and height h becomes 0. So all the kinetic energy और जो कि क्षितिज ऊर्जा है वो गतिज ऊर्जा में कन्वर्ट हो जाती है, that is half mv square. So there are numerous examples of the energy. Now energy is the primary and most universal measure of all kinds work by human beings and nature. Everything what happens, the word is the expression of flow of energy in one of its forms. Means energy is transferred from one form to another form, like kinetic to potential, potential to kinetic, or heat energy. Like in the heat combustion system, we have seen that there is a energy gained by the piston due to the fuel chemical energy of the air fuel mixture, and it is get converted into kinetic energy. Now the energy sources available can be divided into two types: primary energy sources and secondary fuels. So primary energy sources are like coal, petrol, natural gases, etc. So these resources are limited. These are creating pollution. They cannot be replenished again and again. That's why the secondary fuels or secondary energy resources or renewable energy resources like solar energy, wind energy, geothermal energy, ocean thermal, OTEC, ocean thermal energy conversion system. So these are the different secondary renewable energy sources are now currently being used, and the primary energy resources are getting replaced by these resources. So जो energy resources हैं renewable energy sources से रिप्लेस्ड हो रहे हैं प्राइमरी एनर्जी रिसोर्सेज. So we will explain these in short, like solar energy. The solar energy is the application of this system is depend upon the solar radiations, means the radiations which are coming from the sun. Now, all the radiations which are coming from the sun are not fully utilized because some of the radiations are harmful for the human being. कुछ रेडिएशंस ऐसे हैं जो कि जैसे अल्ट्रावायलेट रेज हैं वो हार्मफुल हैं ह्यूमन बीइंग के लिए, सोसाइटी के लिए. सो ओनली 70% ऑफ द रेडिएशंस आर यूज्ड फॉर द जनरेशन ऑफ इलेक्ट्रिसिटी एंड आउट ऑफ 70% ओनली 10 to 20% is used to make a system and effectively utilization for the commercial and domestic purposes. So these radiations are classified into two parts. One is extraterrestrial radiations. Number two is terrestrial radiations. So the radiations which are coming to the surface of earth in the presence of atmosphere are terrestrial radiations, and without the presence of atmosphere are the extraterrestrial radiations. So these terrestrial radiations are further classified into two parts: direct radiations and diffused radiations. So the direct radiations are those radiations which are coming directly to the surface of the earth without any scattering, disturbance, obstacles in the path of the radiations. While in the second case, diffused radiations are those radiations which get scattered, absorbed, reflected by some other surfaces and then reaches to the surface of the earth. So this is the basic of the solar energy. And after that, what is there? We are having the solar cell, a cell which is made of semiconductor, and because of the photons which are coming from the sun, these photons are responsible for photovoltaic reactions. What happens? Initially the semiconductor is in equilibrium state. After the photons that is coming from the sun is responsible for the conversion of the or producing imbalance in the equilibrium system. What happens? The electrons reaches to the upper surfaces and the holes on the other surfaces. Therefore, there is a positive negative terminal at two ends. And when we apply some load on this surface, and therefore electricity is produced. So that's why photovoltaic process is responsible for production of electricity from the radiations. Now second is the wind energy. Wind energy. So all other energies like wind energy, geothermal energy, ocean thermal energy system, biomass energy system, these all are depend upon the solar energy. Means these are all depend upon the solar sun. तो सूर्य की वजह से ही बाकी जो भी एनर्जी रिसोर्सेज हैं, चाहे वायु एनर्जी है या जियोथर्मल, उनका एग्जिस्टेंस है. इफ सन इज नॉट देयर देन अदर रिसोर्सेज आर नॉट देयर. सो व्हाट हैपेंस इन केस ऑफ विंड एनर्जी? द सोर्स इज विंड. सो हाउ द विंड इज क्रिएटेड? Wind is created when the surface of the, like this is the earth and this is the water. So there are two ends, one is earth and second is the water, and at both ends air is there which touches the surface of the earth and the water also. The air जो हवा है जो कि close है अर्थ के, it is warmer than the air which is touches the surface of the water, and therefore because of force of buoyancy the air moves in upward direction. Movement of air in upward direction because of force of buoyancy, and as soon as this air moves upward direction, in upward direction, the vacant space is occupied by this colder air, and therefore a current of air is there, and this current of air is basically the wind. And when wind is having a certain velocity, a quantum of mass of wind and having a certain velocity, that is half mv square. M is the mass flow rate per unit time, and this energy or this waves of wind strikes the surface of the blades of the rotor of the turbine, which is called wind turbine. The rotor moves with high velocity, and there is a gearbox, generator, transformer in the wind turbine. There is a support called tower in the wind turbine, and electricity is produced. So when air so like this is the blades of the rotor, and this is the propelling shaft is there. Here is this is the gearbox, and this is the generator, and through this power cable is there, and then transformer. So air is coming from this direction, wind. So wind is coming in this direction. As soon as wind touches the blade of the rotor rotates, and gearbox is used to control the speed or to increase or decrease the speed of this rotor. And this shaft, propeller shaft is there, and which is connected to the generator, and electricity is produced. Now this electricity is utilized for commercial purposes using this transformer. There are other components, but this is a basic diagram of the wind turbine. Now wind turbine is again classified into two parts. One is horizontal axis wind turbine, and second is the vertical axis wind turbine. So when the direction of the air is same to the direction of rotation of this rotor, this is called the horizontal axis turbine. And second is the when like here shaft is there and blades are this way. This is rotating in this direction. Air is moving in this air direction. So this is the direction of air is perpendicular to the direction of rotation of this shaft. Here gearbox and generator and transformer are there, gearbox. This is transformer. So these are the components for the vertical axis wind turbine. This is vertical axis wind turbine. So this is the vertical axis wind energy. We can utilize the energy using air, and these resources are basically the green energy. They are not creating pollution. Similarly, geothermal energy is one of the energy resources. In geothermal energy resources, what happens? We are having a production well. We are having energy inside the surface of the earth, where we are having hot rocks or magma, and when water comes in contact with these hot rocks, it gets evaporized, and then this evaporized form of water or steam is utilized for the production of electricity. So this is that content which I have discussed today, the basics of the energy resources, different type of energy resources like mechanical energy. In mechanical energy, it is kinetic energy, potential energy, then some renewable energy resources like solar energy and wind energy, and non-renewable energy resources like coal, petroleum, etc.